Okay.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Recording started. Welcome to another episode of ANPA Financial Webinar. My name is Dr. Stanley Okoro. I'm your host for today's webinar. The ANPA Financial Webinar is designed to give you financial literacy and opportunity to build, protect, and transfer wealth. Today, you're going to be learning about how to protect that wealth you're earning. Today is our 35th webinar um, hosted by ANPA Foundation and ANPA. Our president is currently out of the country, so I'm just going to talk about ANPA briefly. ANPA is a 501(c) incorporated in 1995, so we're almost 30 years old. We represent over 8,000 physicians, dentists, and allied health professionals of Nigerian birth and ethnicity. We are the largest association of Nigerian healthcare professionals outside of Nigeria. These are some of the benefits of ANPA membership: professional development, leadership opportunities, practice referrals, networking, support, medical mission, volunteerism. Speaking of medical mission, the next ANPA medical and surgical mission is in Lagos, Nigeria from April 4th to April 8th. And then following that, we will have our national convention. During this ANPA surgical and medical mission, we will do knowledge transfer, skills training, and capacity building and service. Following the medical and surgical mission, we have our 30th anniversary celebration and convention, scientific convention at Eco Hotel from April 10th to April 12th. So we invite everyone to join us to celebrate our success. During that time, we're also going to have a hat and tea fundraising brunch at Eco Hotel. We also have our annual AMPA football/soccer. It's a co-ed. It's most fun you're ever going to have in a convention. This will be sponsored by Excite Capital and Trust Crow and AMPA Foundation. These are ways to get connected with AMPA. If you want more information about AMPA, go to ampa.org. AMPA Foundation is a 501(c)(3) charitable foundation of AMPA, founded in 2022. Our purpose was three main purposes: to raise funds and create financial independence for AMPA via philanthropy, estate planning, business investments; to create sustainable system of healthcare in Nigeria and beyond. And number three, what we're doing today is to educate AMPA members about personal and business investment, tax strategies, estate planning, multi-generational wealth, legacy, and philanthropy. Ooh, that's a mouthful. We hold these webinars at 12:30 Eastern, US Eastern time. Is 1 hour. We start on time, we end on time. It's an intentional aggregation of subject experts. We believe this is going to be the highest and best use of your time on a Saturday afternoon in the US, and it's free to AMPA members to share. But today we invited other people who are beyond AMPA because I think this is too important to keep to yourself. Well, the materials presented at all AMPA webinar is for general education and information purpose only, and is solely the opinion of the presenter. No webinar is intended to provide personalized financial or legal advice. It is left to the discretion and judgment of the viewer, and it's your sole responsibility to determine what is necessary for you or your own practice. Neither the speaker or AMPA can be held responsible for the materials, opinions, or any inadvertent error or omissions in the preparation or presentation of the material. Furthermore, nothing in this material should be construed as an endorsement by AMPA. On that note, it's my pleasure to introduce to you my friend Joe. Joe is going to be talking to us about how to protect your investments in Nigeria. Give me a minute. Let's see. Give me a minute. My stuff. Joe, are you ready? Joe is an investment expert in Nigeria. How's that look?
Perfect. Thank
Joe,
you.
you ready?
Born ready.
All right, boring. So, Joe, tell us more about yourself because I don't think I did a great job introducing you. We give us your background, what you do, where you live, and all of that stuff. And then before you go into the presentation.
Awesome. Doctor, thank you so very much. It's a real honor and pleasure to be here. A bit of information about my background. 21 years in real estate, about 10 years in the US, 11 years here. I grew up on the East Coast, grew up in Maryland, and I went to school in Massachusetts. Went to high school and college in Massachusetts. Came back to Washington and worked there. Um, for a decade and got my master's in Georgetown before making the bold leap to coming out to Nigeria. Um, as I mentioned, about 21 years experience across 4 or 5 different fields. I've built real estate as a developer um, in America and predominantly in Nigeria. I've financed real estate, financing debt and equity for investors and for developers. I've consulted in real estate for large institutional investors on the East Coast. Um, and I've also worked as an advisor for the largest publicly traded real estate services company in the US. Um, so as I mentioned, the last 11 years I've been here in Nigeria doing a variety of things, predominantly developing residential property. The last 2 years building a technology platform, helping Nigerians in the diaspora and domestically purchase property safely. That's our kind of tagline internally for Trust Grow, a platform where you can purchase property safely. So that's what I'll be speaking with you about. And if I'm honest, I'm extremely, extremely excited to be here. I went to my first ANPA convention in 2019 in Washington. That's where I met the good doctor, Dr. Kuro, and other folks. I went to the ANPA convention last year in Anaheim. And obviously we'll be present this year in April. We're very proud, super proud to sponsor a few events, including the dinner on Friday, the 4th of April, for the physicians and the nurses and the practitioners doing at the medical mission, that opening dinner. Very happy to meet 120 plus of you. Also very proud to sponsor the soccer game on Saturday, and I look forward to hopefully being on the winning team. Frankly, I feel like I'm a member of ANPA. If I'm honest with you, I feel like I'm a member of ANPA. I think I have all the qualifications except for the medical degree. So I don't know if that's required. I don't know. I didn't see that in the requirements, but if that's not a big hang up, I'm fully in. I'm all in. So Doctor mentioned the title, how to protect your investments from property investments, but he missed one thing: how to protect your hard-earned investments, hard-earned, because we know it's not easy. We work hard, we break our butts every day to generate money to buy property in the homeland, and we want to make sure. What we're going to talk to you a little bit about today is how to protect and how to purchase property safely. And yeah, how to protect your investments from the Nigerian Association of Property Fraudsters, NAPF. NAPF is actually a shadow organization. We're actually created a comedy drama series, and we created this shadow organization that called NAPF. And while it might be fictitious, this stuff happens. So we want to avoid it in all ways possible. So please, let's get started. Next slide, please. So how many of you have ever said this? Let's start with some questions. I love taking risks. So buying property without verifying title just gets me so excited. By a show of hands. I know we're in a
I
virtual
don't
call,
think
but
anybody will raise their hands for that.
okay, no problem. We'll try the next one. Next slide, please. How about this? I know we're just getting warmed up. How many of you said this? I don't mind that the property is poorly built. It just gives me an opportunity to know the contractors in my local community. Any takers? Okay. Okay. Still no hands up. Okay. We're getting warmed up, sir. We're getting warmed up. Maybe this one. How about this? I love being one of 5 people who've bought the same property. It's just a great way to meet new people and bond on common interests. Still no hands up. All right. So
No.
this one. I think I'm going to get somebody here. Guaranteed. Guaranteed has it. Okay. Buying property that the government intends to acquire and demolish gives me a unique sense of national pride. Please, we must have at least one. No take. Doctor, this is a tough crowd today. So
No,
this is Saturday.
we would like that.
Okay. Maybe we all went out last night, so everybody we're still getting we're getting together. Okay, but listen, for everybody else who's not interested in that, that includes us at TrustGrow, right? We're not interested in the usual stories, and that's why we built this platform. We built it for buyers and we built it for sellers. On the buy side, frankly, buyers they want to avoid fraud. They said you worked hard for your money, you want to avoid that. Buyers want to avoid legal disputes, want to buy properties with no issues. And also buyers want to avoid concerns over the condition of the asset. Okay. What you see, what was promised should be what should be delivered. On the sell side, sellers want to deal with qualified buyers. They don't want to waste time. Also, sellers want to deal with, they want to have transparency in their dealings, know exactly what they're getting into. Okay. That's why we built this platform. Next page, please. So this is our solution to those problems that I just noted. TrustGrow is an end-to-end platform for property sales, where buyers can come on the platform to search for property, verify ownership of the properties, and verify the condition of the quality of the property, and also purchase the property, all on a single platform. We have 3 products. Product number 1 is our property marketplace. You can go on our platform right now, and you can search for pre-vetted properties. Okay, on our platform we have just under 600 units. We do not have 6,000 units, and the reason being is for the reason I mentioned earlier. We focus on pre-vetted sellers who we know can perform. What's important for us is that our customers have good experiences in their transactions. Our next product is our online due diligence product. You can go on our website again, on our web app, and you can order a title search report for any property in Lagos. We're currently in Lagos right now, but we plan to expand to other states. And once you submit all the required information, typically in about 24 hours, and that's if there's no issues at Lagos State, uploaded on your dashboard would be the title search report, which includes the root of title, as well as the property owner information. So you can see clearly who owns the property owners. And lastly, we have an escrow service it has some similarities with escrow in the U.S. and how we transact property in the U.S. Somebody has asked for the website. I will.
Don't worry about that, Joe. After your presentation, we will answer all the questions in the chat. Yes.
Okay, great stuff. Next page, please. So why should you use TrustGrow? Right. So frankly, if you have concerns about the seller's integrity, you should use our platform. Because as I mentioned, we have pre-vetted sellers. The truth is, if you're an expert buying and selling property, if you bought 100 properties, you probably don't need this. You could probably teach us a thing or two. But if that's not the group that you fall in, you may need some assistance. The third, and frankly, I think this is actually one of kind of our key unique selling points. And it's actually a non-technical selling point. And those are our property advisors. The difference between us and different platforms is that our assets, the assets on our property marketplace are backed by property advisors, and they're all neighborhood specific. So if you're looking for an asset in Ikoyi or VI versus Lekki versus Shangotedo versus GRA Keja versus Yaba, the advisor would be different because the advisors specialize in different areas. And again, we call them property advisors, not property agents, because we have a higher level of quality for our team. When you come to work at TrustGrow as an advisor, you spend a month doing nothing but just training and learning. Reason being is, frankly, a lot of the property sales people here in Nigeria, they're just not very good, and they don't have a lot of qualifications. As I mentioned, I grew up in the U.S., and I lived and worked there for practically most of my career. So what we're trying to do is bring the best of best practice service here in Nigeria. And when you inquire about a property, an advisor will reach out to you, take you around. They're your trusted guide, essentially, and take you around and also help you negotiate, advise you on things to do and things not to do. And lastly, you want a place in Nigeria where your family can connect to where you're from. Next page, please. So here are a few of the benefits of working with TrustGrow. Again, trustworthy platform with pre-vetted assets. And that's if you're a buyer. Also, if you're a buyer, you want to work with sellers that have a proven track record, and also guys who have documents, right? Because we don't list stuff that doesn't have proper title documents. If you're a seller, right, you want a reliable platform, right? They can connect, domestic and diaspora buyers to the assets that you have listed on our platform for sale. And also you want to deal with qualified buyers. Next page, please. So here are some key reasons why you should not use TrustGrow. Number one, confidence. You have 100% confidence in your transaction. If that's the case, you don't need us. If that's not the case, please, we're happy to speak with you. Two, you're a bit of a risk taker. You don't mind risking, your $1 million investment. And three, high blood pressure is not an issue in your family. That's not the same case. That's not the case in my family. I visit my cardiologist annually, so I like to stay away from dangerous situations. So if you're like me, there could be a use case for you. So now I think here's the cocoa, as we say here. What's in it for you? What's in it for ANPA? And the key thing is what we call our CRP, our Corporate Realty Program. That program is for corporations, organizations, associations, where we deal with them as an organization. It's usually companies here. It's usually companies and actually some government organizations here in Nigeria, but also associations falling in the same field, where we engage with the association. So typically, let me explain. Typically, we engage, if you're an individual, we engage with you individually, and you pay the typical rates that any individual would pay. But when we engage with your organization, the members then, transact with us under the umbrella of that organization. So what's the benefit of that? The benefit of that is individuals can leverage their organization's scale, and in exchange for that, get benefits, namely discounts in our products. The key thing, I think the real benefit, or the kicker is that it costs the organization absolutely nothing. Zero cost to the organization, and its members just frankly can just leverage the scale of the organization. And I think and that's the benefits to the individual. As far as benefits to the organization, they can actually kind of market this to prospective members as a way to get more members. Next slide, please. So we're going to show you a little bit about our product. You can go on our website right now, and you can look in our property marketplace and see any of the properties there. And if you were to inquire, one of our property advisors will reach out to you. As a note, we're revamping our entire platform, and it will change and be completely brand spanking new by the beginning of April. Next slide, please. Again, if you click on any asset, it takes you to a more detailed property page where it shows you more property information. Here you can see that you can contact the advisor that's in charge of those properties, and then they'll reach out to you. Next page, please. You can also schedule a viewing all online. If you're not around, perhaps you're abroad, we can go out, take pictures, take videos of those assets, and send them over to you to give you more familiarity. If you have perhaps family members here you want us to go with and do that, we're happy to do that as well. Next slide, please. And once you've seen those assets and you're interested in doing more due diligence and moving forward, next slide, please. You can just come on our platform and log in and just order a title search report. So this screen here is a brand new member who's never ordered a report. So you just click on the button, order title search report. Next page, please. So I mentioned, there's something I forgot to mention earlier. So I called it, we have due diligence products. Our first product was this online title search report. The next product we're bringing out is an online property condition report, where you can order just like we do in America. I'm sorry for the folks who are in the UK or Europe. I've never worked over there, so I just always leverage kind of my American background. But you can order a property condition report, and one of our experts will go out, do a condition report, take pictures, and do a report and send it to you and let you know the quality of the property. Again, similar to inspection reports in the US. But moving forward, you can just order a title search report. You come here, you fill in the information. If you have the title number, you input the title number. If you don't have the title number, you input the information you have, whether it be address or what have you. Once we receive all the information needed, within 24 hours, as I mentioned, oh, sorry, let me just actually go to the next slide. And then you can just pay online. If you're international, you pay via Stripe. If you're domestic here, you pay via Paystack or MoneyFi. Next slide, please. And so once we receive your request, we start to fulfill that order. It goes to one of our partner law firms who sees the order and fills that order. Next slide, please. This next screen is an example of that. You see here, it's in progress. And you see here, one of the legal experts has accepted a request and is fulfilling that order. This is part of the reason why I sometimes use the analogy that, we're Uber for title search reports, because Uber doesn't drive it, just connect you to a driver. Here, we don't do title search reports. We connect you to a law firm that fulfills those orders and then uploads it on your dashboard. Next slide, please. And typically these reports are done within 24 hours after we receive all the information. That's pending no issues at Lagos State. Here you see the report has been uploaded on your dashboard, and you can download it for review. If you have a query, you can just submit a query. If not, you have 48 hours, and you have 48 hours to do that. If you exceed that time and no queries, and then we pay the law firm. Next slide, please. So that's pretty much it. So there's a QR code here on the screen, so you can scan the code. It will take you to our website, and you can check it out. So that's it for me for right now.
right.
We'd love to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Joe, for the wonderful presentation. Our format is there are 2 ways or 3 ways to ask questions. One, you can unmute yourself or raise your hand. I will recognize you to ask questions. I've asked Joe to answer every question today. Okay. And then the other, if you're shy, you can send your questions to me. Personally, I can ask it for you, or you can type it on the chat. So I'm going to start by, I've already received some personal questions, Joe. Joe, the escrow that so we love the fact that you have an escrow service now. So that way, how does that work? Can you explain that a little bit more? So if I find a property in VI and I'm talking with the landlord or whatever, just take it from there. How does your escrow work compared to the US escrow?
Sure. Um, Find a property, submit an offer, contract offer is signed, due diligence is complete, and you want to move forward. Um, you'd sign we work with one of the largest financial services company here in Nigeria called Cardinal Stone. Um, you'd sign an escrow agreement with them. They would KYC you so that they can receive money from you. Because they're licensed by SEC, by the SEC. So they're a licensed custodian and licensed trustee to receive and hold monies on behalf of third parties. So they're regulated. So they have to KYC to receive money from you. And then they KYC the seller in order to pay money to them. But anyway, they receive money from you. They notify the seller that they receive money from you. At that point, the buyer and seller exchange title documents. And then buyer notifies that seller notifies that they've sent the title documents. Buyer notifies that they've received title documents. Or sometimes they actually are the ones who actually can do that collections and transfer themselves. And then they send the money to
So,
the seller. So their role is kind of purely financial intermediary, and it can also be custodianship of the documents to exchange documents.
okay. And there was another question. The lawyers that do the title search, I'm assuming that you have already vetted them and these are good law firms.
Yeah.
What kind of liability do they have? Like if they make a mistake or something, I don't know. Because sometimes there's fake titles, fake documents. How do we feel comfortable that the title search
Sure.
is accurate?
So fantastic question. Um, there, there's thousands of different law firms in Nigeria and in Lagos. We don't go for the biggest name, biggest legal brand. We go for the brand that specializes in property, and there's a distinction. And that is frankly just based on experience. You can go for a big brand. I've dealt with the biggest brands in Nigeria, having developed property here for 11 years. Um, I can I can give you inside information and tell you that just because it's a big legal brand doesn't mean that they're an expert in property. So what we do is we work with folks who specialize in property, just like in the US, you specialize in IP, or you specialize in property, or you specialize in aviation, or what have you. In Nigeria, as the questionnaire rightfully kind of queried, in Nigeria, people tend to specialize in everything. So based on our kind of decade plus of experience, we focus on the guys who have expertise in property. So I hope that answers the first question about kind of
Mhm.
um, their qualifications. Now, it was also asked, um, um, what if they make a mistake on fraudulent titles? I should note that the search report that is drafted and uploaded on your platform is reporting on what is reported in the land registry. So they're reporting to you, the owner of record, pursuant to what's in the land registry. Now, as to the question as to fake title, um, uh, the law firms that we work with during a transaction, in a transaction, prior to closing, um, um, a buyer can, as part of the services of the law firms that we work with, buyer can request that law firm verify the physical title with Lake Estate. So at Lake Estate, the title is actually inspected. They actually have machines that do that. Because so to ensure that it's not a fake title or yeah, it's not a fake title. So there's DD at different stages. There's a DD on the physical document itself. There's DD on what's actually registered in the state in the land registry, and that title search report I should mention is, so we have three different we have three different tiers of products. Our very basic product is a title search report, which is what I've explained. Our next level of product is where you do further due diligence, which includes DD at the Surveyor General's office to make sure that the property is not part of any type of government acquisition. You can also do research at the Corporate Affairs Commission to ensure that the company selling the property is in good standing. You can also do research at the probate to make, which is inheritance and so on and so forth. So that's that second tier, which has just frankly more investigations, and then the last tier is those two things, as well as drafting all the documentation, including purchase agreements, deed of assignments, and all those things.
Right, but thank you very much. So the floor is open. You're free to unmute yourself, ask your questions, or you can type any question you have on the chat. Joe will answer those questions for you. President Okafor, you're recognized.
I said nothing. I was gathering myself to say something, but I unmuted myself. You're right. But thank you very much, Stan. You're doing marvelous work. I tell you that every week I see you. And I won't stop because this is marvelous. And talking about value, you're adding value to our association immensely. And I want to thank the gentleman who presented. Sorry, I joined a little late. I didn't catch your name. It was lucid. Your presentation was lucid, but we have questions. I was listening at the time you were describing. I have quite a few. So let me just run through them in order. One, I sense that you're operating Trust Crowd, is operating in Lagos only now. And you made the comment about moving into other parts of the Federation. That's going to come later. That's my first question is, are you in Abuja? Are you in the Southeast? Are you in the South-South? What are the plans for other markets? Number two question I have, I saw the pictures that were put up, some illustration you were going in there. They look like New England homes to me. The background looked like fall in New England. So, but I guess when push comes to shove, we'll have to see whatever we're buying in Lagos. The background looked like it was taken in New England, but that doesn't matter. About the value to ANPA, yes. When you said that we can leverage the scale, the buyer can leverage the scale of your relationship with ANPA, are you saying specifically that there will be differentials in rate? I mean, I didn't hear that precisely. You said it will be leveraged, but how? I know we can use that for marketing in terms of member, whatever, but what does the member get? Like if your rates are 6%, 7%, is there any break for an ANPA member? Or if an ANPA member makes a purchase, is there any understanding about what you can do with our foundation or with ANPA to support ANPA? I mean, are there nominal understanding so we know that if we can get 10, 20 people to walk through Trust Crowd, ANPA would like to get some break. Or however, I'd like a little more specificity on that. Lastly, for people who may be coming in April, including this member, would it be possible to do some tour, see what is available? Those are my thoughts.
Can I answer the last one, Joe?
Doctor, of course.
The,
You're my leader. How can
yeah.
I know
So
that?
Dr. Okafor is an avid football player, a soccer player.
Once
So,
upon a time.
so for those who are joining us on Saturday for let me just say, the football is an adult co-ed football. So you're not winning any titles that nobody is signing you at the Premier League, okay? It's not that kind of, but at the end of the football exercise, he's actually, him and XI Capital are sponsoring the football or soccer team. They're going to show us one or two properties, and I think Joe will be available during the convention for other private tours, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you can, but Dr. Okafor has a lot of questions, which I think hopefully you can answer all of them.
Fantastic questions. Thank you, Doctor. I look forward to meeting you. First question, talked about where we're currently doing business.
Yes.
I'll say two things about that. And again, because we have the different products on the property marketplace, we're currently in two locales, Lagos and Abuja. We started in Lagos and we grew organically into Abuja. And we have a decent number of assets there that we're currently marketing. For the second product, the title search report product, yes, you're right. We're currently in Lagos. We do have plans to expand, not just Abuja, but probably next after that would be Anambra State. We've actually started discussions with Anambra last year, and they were interested in us doing some very interesting work with us. So that most likely will be the next place that we do for title search report products. As far as expansions, property, yeah, you talked about those properties that you saw. I mentioned that we're actually rebuilding our entire property marketplace, and that should be launched in early April. And that screen you saw was a mock-up of that new marketplace that we're building. However, if you go to our website, I dropped the website in the group and the chat. You can see several hundred units listed there live, and apartments, houses, land, different stuff. Next question. What discounts? Yes, so the discounts are the buyers and sellers. We typically charge 5% if you're walking off the street. Under our CRP, under our corporate realty program, which ANPA we'd work with ANPA within that program. The ANPA members who engage with us under that umbrella, we charge 3.5%. So that's quite a significant discount.
2.5?
3.5.
Okay.
3.5 for it's going to be under ANPA Foundation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we would we would register ANPA as an organization, and we would and we can discuss the way which ANPA's members would fall under that umbrella. We'd just have to figure out a way and speak to ANPA how we can be notified who's actually a member. So the members are granted those discounts, and people who are not members are not granted those discounts. But
yeah, so I would allow Dr. Jimo, who's our national treasurer here, because there has to be a significant difference in terms of membership. Those who are members are those that have paid their dues. So we will talk to you about how to kind of work with our national treasurer to verify dues. Speaking of dues, I'll have Larry talk about that in a minute. But go ahead.
Absolutely, people in good standing. Absolutely, understood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and last, Doctor has already noted that immediately after the football game, we'll be busing the players to one or two different developments. They're very close by, and we'll be serving lunch and refreshments and drinks And we just want to have it be fun.
You have to be registered for the soccer to eat lunch, show. I'm just saying.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Stanley, would you allow me a gentle follow-up? One point.
Please go ahead.
Please, thank you, Joe. But I shouldn't be making Stanley's case here, but Stanley's so kind. I have heard with great acknowledgement the 3.5 break you give to AMPA, but I shouldn't be making the case for the foundation. But since the foundation is in the middle, trying to indeed introduce you to us and us to you, would it be my understanding that Trustcry or whoever are involved in these transactions will recognize that the foundation, which is 501c3 group, need support too in the work they're doing? I mean, Stanley does an incredible job gathering us like this the past 2-3 years, and all this effort he's been making. So I'm sure his foundation might benefit from some relationship from you, even as they introduce us to you to buy all this property. Stanley, am I asking too much?
No, the foundation and Joe, we're having that conversation right now. Any business, we like to give and take, right? Support because AMPA Foundation supports AMPA. I mean, we are supporting this medical mission. I don't know, Larry, should I say how much we donated to AMPA for the medical mission? I don't know if I should say that or not.
Feel free to share it. It's public information.
Huh?
Feel free to share it. It's public information.
Transparency.
So yeah, so AMPA Foundation just gave AMPA $10,000 to help run the medical mission. So the stuff goes back to giving back to the community. That's what we do. So I think it's very important as we create business for you. You're gonna also give back to the community. So it's almost like a CSR, a corporate social responsibility given back to AMPA Foundation or AMPA. But Dr. Okafor, that conversation is ongoing.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr.
And as I mentioned, Doctor, I mentioned that, I feel like I'm a member of the AMPA Foundation. So I'm fully with you guys. I'm actually, Oga Stanley, I'm waiting for my registration to be accepted.
But he's sponsoring our AMPA soccer football in Nigeria. That's also giving back. So we appreciate that. Let me give the platform to Dr. Larry Jimo for a minute.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okoro. Joe, it's good to see you. We've had some conversations on the side. I'm really happy to know that you're going to be joining us in Lagos. The soccer competition is near and dear to us. I think Stanley and I did the first one 3 years ago, and he has a video where he dribbled me very embarrassingly. Awesome. He's always quick to share the video when we're in the public forum to embarrass me. So I'm hoping that I can retaliate in Lagos this time. Awesome. So thank you for sponsoring that. Really good presentation. It's really nice to know the progress you've made in the past few years in Lagos. So great job. And we are excited to work with you and partner with you. So I guess my plug, two things. One is for AMPA members on the call to realize that, this is membership value. The foundation, through its webinar series, is adding more knowledge and giving our members exclusive access to resources, wealth protection, tax advisory, all these investment opportunities. So these things cost money. And on this call, I know there are some people here that have not paid their dues this year. Please consider paying your dues this year. More than ever before, it's so important because we are going to Lagos. This is a special convention, and the decision to go to Lagos is fraught with a lot of challenges, as you may understand. It would be much easier for us to set up a convention in Atlanta or Charlotte or anywhere else in this country. Going to Lagos it's caused a lot of gray hairs for many of us. And financially, it's a difficult proposition. But we know that with our members' support, we can go and come back and be successful. So please, even if you can't come to Lagos, pay your membership dues. If you're going to Lagos, you especially have to pay your membership dues because a lot of the benefits in Lagos, whether it is the medical mission or the convention, are deeply discounted for members, which are active members. So if you don't pay your dues, Lagos may end up being more expensive for you. So please, please pay your dues. Associates, affiliates, I see some of them here that have not paid their dues. Our CRNAs, our NPs, our pharmacists, we need you guys to support too. So please pay your dues. The second plug is for Joe personally. Joe, Excite Capital, your counterpart who's in this sponsorship, are also, in fact, they're a gold sponsor for the convention. So we really appreciate what you're doing with the foundation, but please consider having a booth and being a formal sponsor of the convention itself, which opens you other opportunities to reaching our members more directly. So please, let's connect offline to talk about that too. All right.
Okay, awesome.
And that's
Awesome.
it for me. Thank you all very much for the work we do for ANPA. Thank you.
Well done, Lanre. Well done.
Thank you. There is a question that was privately sent to me is, Joe, this is what if you found a property that is not in your platform, but because of what your platform provides, can I bring the seller to you guys to help me verify, validate, and all that stuff? How would that work?
Fantastic question. Whoever asked that question is completely keyed in to our product, and they're exactly right. And I should have noted that. On the due diligence product, it's not just for products on our marketplace. If you have an asset that you want to purchase, or even that you want to rent, rentals can be 30 million naira a year, 50 million naira a year, 100 million, maybe a commercial rental, 100 million naira, right? And you want to protect your investments. You want to make sure that you're paying the right person, whether to purchase an asset or to rent an asset. You can, again, just log. It takes literally minutes, a couple minutes to sign up. And that's for our title search. If you go to our website, it's just look at verify. There's a tab that's verify. Thank you. Stanley Dr. Koro just moved to the QR code on our presentation. I just click on the verify tab, sign up, and then just order a title search report. Input the property information, any property in Lagos, and then and then it will get sent, and one of our local legal partners will pick that up.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions? We have about 9 minutes left on our hour allocation. Anybody have any other question, any other concerns about property investment protection in Nigeria? This is your chance to ask a question. Don't be shy. Type it on the chat or mute yourself. Well, I don't see any other hands up and no other messages. Joe, is there anything else that you want to add that you didn't cover?
Well, frankly, I'm really, really excited to meeting the participants in the medical mission on Friday the 4th. And hopefully at that point, I get to speak to folks one-on-one and answer any other questions. I think you guys are doing fantastic work in that regard in your medical missions here in Nigeria. And as I mentioned, we're super honored, frankly, to sponsor that event and meet you guys. But Doctor, I don't know if you please, if you can, I can send you my details. I know you have it, but I can send it to you. And please feel free to share. And then I'm happy to answer any questions whatsoever. But basically, just to kind of close, we're your end-to-end advisors for property purchases and property sales in Nigeria, because we have you covered on finding assets, on selling assets, on DDing assets, DDing title ownership, DDing property quality, and also on the purchase and financial transaction. And also, as I mentioned, with well-trained and well-skilled property advisors who can take you around and just get your back. So we're happy to help and very thrilled to work with ANPA. Like I said, look forward to welcoming you guys when you guys come for the medical mission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe. For those who are new to this, this presentation will be is being recorded. It will be posted on the ANPA National YouTube page. As soon as it's possible. Feel free to share with your members. We will continue present this. On behalf of ANPA Foundation and ANPA, I want to thank everybody for joining in. And if you have any questions, please reach out to Joe. He's a fantastic guy. I want us to thank everyone for joining us today on this fantastic Saturday on our 35th webinar. This is our 5th year of doing it, Dr. Kaffer, not 2 years, 5 years now. So we love the information we've shared among ANPA members. This is definitely one of the benefits of ANPA membership. Thank you very much, Joe, for your time. Appreciate you. Everyone have a wonderful day. I'm going to stop sharing and stop recording. Let's see.
Yeah. I stand corrected. Thank you.